Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and I'm going ahead and recording the Friday, November 18th daily financial news. Again, remember, if you are a subscriber of my channel, Friday morning, you get what I call my financial news raw notes. And then what I will do on Sundays is I will come through and kind of give you a video with maybe more color, how things tie together. But if you want to stay in touch with the financial news on Fridays and Saturdays, you need to subscribe to the channel, and I will send out a post with my raw notes. So when we talk about Friday, the 18th, we must talk about housing. We got the National Association of Realtors October numbers, and they were bad. Now, in fairness, they weren't quite as bad as I thought. So let's just give you the numbers. Let's talk about it because I think there's a lot of things that you and I need to be thinking about. So first and foremost, last month, the transaction total, again, existing home sales was 4.71. Expectations were 4.38. And my guess was 4.23 with a shout out to Michael Jordan. Again, my guess proved wrong. A guess proved wrong also on the side. So this would normally be a swing and a miss, but I don't have my shirt on, so I apologize. So again, it came in at 4.43. 4.43. I was off by about 200,000 homes. We really got to ask why, right? October, typically a slow month. It was kind of, couldn't fight that off. Bless me. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. But hey, I do live videos, so we just keep rolling. So again, 4.43. We are now under 4.5. I believe we will be under 4 million by January-ish, maybe December, maybe January. We went down 5.9% in transactions. Again, we've been calling a transaction crash all year. Prices were down. To 379,100. They still are up 6.6% year on year. We've got 2 more months to see if my call for the year stands. We are down rough and tough 9% from the peak in June. This season is historically softer than the summer, but without question, the drop is more significant. We must look at a couple of things. One of the things we talked about, I believe, on this channel was inventory. We have seen dramatic slowing in days on market, right? Days on market, you've heard from some of our realtors, have gone from single digits to 30 or 40 days. You would think with days on market expanding that inventory across the country would be up. Folks, that is not true. Inventory is down roughly 1%, just under 1%, which really means days on market, months of inventory are all going to skew higher. And this is what we have been talking about. This is what is expected. Days on market are the key or the investor friend. So I'm happy to say it is unfolding exactly like we have been talking about. We are going to be able to find motivated sellers. You are going to increasingly see the folks that want to sell, that don't need to sell. They're going to start canceling or letting their listings expire. It is going to be very, very hard for agents the next 6 months or so. So again, existing home sales 4.43. I need to go back and see who nailed 4.43, see who got closest so we can send them a shirt. Also on Friday, we got to give a shout out to Mr. Bullard. Again, this is something we talked about. We told you was coming. The Fed only has 2 tools, right? They have the federal funds rate, which rough and tough changes every 6 weeks or can. This Fed, I mean, literally they could change any day they wanted. Emergency meeting, emergency rate hike, but this Fed doesn't want to do that. So we have their bullhorn or talking, and you're starting to see the Fed splinter. Seems like 2 months ago they were all on the same page. Now you're starting to see hawks and dove. And Bullard came out on Thursday or on Friday. I forget whether it was Friday or Thursday, but I think it was Thursday afternoon, and basically said, we see federal funds rate going higher, certainly in the 5, but he also painted a picture, and I guarantee you he did this on purpose. He painted a picture about rates potentially going to 7. So again, just to play this out for you, if the federal funds rate was 7, you have to assume the 10-year mortgage is, I don't know, you got to assume it's in the 8s, right? And if it's in the 8s, you then have mortgages in the 10s, right? How we get a 10% mortgage rate is we have federal funds at 7. I don't see that. That would be all kinds of bads for all kinds of industries. I think the Fed is doing what they have to do, and they have to talk tough. I don't think the Fed liked the market racing higher. I don't think the Fed liked the bond market crashing, or bond markets were up, rates were down. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't think the Fed was happy. So Bullard took out the good old microphone and said some scary stuff. Next thing to talk about on Friday is I was published in Business Insider. There was an article talking about why investors should be very excited about the next 2 years. So we talked about the 4 steps. We talked about things you should do. We talked about doing the work. And I was very pleased with how the article came out. So again, shout out Business Insider. It does appear to be around behind a paywall. Somebody sent me a note that it came up on Apple News. I haven't seen it. But yeah, you can look for it on Business Insider. Amazon indicated that layoffs will continue into next year. They talked about 10,000 seemingly last week, and they indicated more to come. On top of that, mortgage rates had their largest drop. And again, this is something I think the Fed was like, damn, don't want to see that. Mortgage rates dropped in a week. It is the largest fall since 1982. 82 or 81? 81 or 82. It fell from 7.08 to 6.61. That is quite the drop. That would make a meaningful difference. I think the magic barrier is 6. I personally think we have to stay kind of, up in the high 6s, low 7s for another 90 days just to get people's mindset shifted. Because, 2 months ago, people remembered 3% mortgages. I think if this stays high for another 3 months, people will remember 7% mortgages. And then when they get something at 5.99, they're going to be ecstatic. So again, I think, consumers will do what consumers do, and they have short memories. Today, people talk about 3%. Like, damn it, I missed it. I think in, a total of 6 to 9 months, they'll be saying, yeah, look at me. I got 5.99 instead of, 7.08. So it's something to watch. And then finally, we've got word from JP Morgan. And again, this is something that I believe puts a floor under housing. This is something that I think make the crash bros scared. And that is JP Morgan coming out and saying they're going to drop $1 billion on single family rentals. They actually have a buy box. JP Morgan has a buy box. If you don't have a buy box, what are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? This is JP Morgan's buy box. It's actually written down. They are looking for 2 to 4 bedroom homes, new construction, 2 to 4 bedroom homes, 1,500 to 2,500 square feet, 2-car garage. Sounds like a buy box to me. So again, JP Morgan is good enough for JP Morgan, good enough for $1 billion. They're looking to buy 2,500 homes, which totals about $400K if I did my math right. So again, they are in the mix. So what else to talk about? Fed Collins talking about we can tame inflation without too much damage to employment. I think the Fed is getting encouraged by, I think the opportunities for a soft landing are increasing. To be clear, they are not great. I would argue the chances aren't even good, but they're also not zero. I think the chances of a soft landing in the classic terms, meaning no recession, are not zero. I would say they're single digits, probably low single digits, but hey, they're not zero. So, good for them. And then last thing, it is very interesting to hear Sequoia, who invested $210 million in FTX. I read an article because they just wrote down that entire investment to zero. I personally can't believe Sequoia said, we did careful due diligence. Did you guys see where the CFO is, headquartered? It's in the metaverse. Do you think Sequoia did careful due diligence? They didn't. They did not do careful due diligence. I don't know anybody at Sequoia. At least I don't think he's still there. I used to know somebody. I think he left 5 years ago. Yeah, they didn't do careful due diligence. They got caught up in the hype. They got caught up in the mesmerizing BS fraud that is whatever this guy's name is. And Yeah, they did not do care. In fact, that's embarrassing for Sequoia to say they did careful due diligence. So that's what I got for Friday. What would that have been? November 18th. I hope you have an amazing day. Again, if a buy box is good enough for JP Morgan, what is yours? Thanks, everybody. Take care.